Why did it have to be this hard? You've whispered that question, through tear-soaked pillows, in nights so quiet. Even your sobs felt loud, and I heard every word. My child, I saw your struggle, and now the money I promised is on its way. I watched you hold back tears at the gas station when your card declined. I saw you calculating every dollar in your account, wondering how to feed your children and still keep the lights on. You smiled in front of others, but I saw the breakdown behind closed doors. The world saw your strength. I saw your breaking point. You cried, "God, have you forgotten me?" But I never looked away. This is not just a message. This is a divine appointment, a turning point in your story. Not a motivational talk, not a lucky scroll on YouTube. This is a sacred moment. I brought you here, right now, because I'm about to shift everything. But before I release the money, I need you to hear this first. You thought no one noticed, but I did. That night, when your hands trembled holding unpaid bills, when your heart cracked beneath the weight of silence, I was there. You wondered if I had forgotten you, if your prayers bounced off the ceiling, if my promises had somehow expired. But child, not a single tear was wasted. I saw you, not just your pain, but your perseverance. You didn't curse me, you didn't give up, you kept going, even when the darkness didn't lift. And that is what moved me. You see, my timing isn't driven by noise, it's drawn to faith. Your quiet trust became a magnet for miracles. Remember that night, you sat in your car, headlights off so no one could see you crying? You whispered, "God, I don't know how much more I can take." You almost didn't go back home, but you did. What you didn't see was the angel I placed beside you in that car. What you didn't know is that your breaking point was actually your birthing point. What felt like abandonment was alignment. You weren't being punished, you were being positioned. I was digging deep, laying the foundation for something massive. Your struggle wasn't a burial, it was a planting. And now, it's harvest time. But child, I know, you still carry questions. Why didn't it happen sooner? That is what I'll reveal next. Because the delay was never a denial. You thought I was saying no, but I was saying not yet. There were days when you begged me for a breakthrough, and all you heard was silence. You assumed my silence meant I didn't care. But oh my child, I was working in the stillness. I saw your tears, and I counted every single one. I watched as hope flickered, like a dying candle. But what looked like delay was divine design. When you didn't see me, I was building things you weren't ready for. Because if I had answered too soon, you would have settled for less than what I've prepared. I don't just want to give you money, I want to give you maturity, vision, protection from what you couldn't see. What you called waiting, I called training. Do you remember that opportunity, the one you wanted so badly? You prayed, you fasted, you praised, and still the door closed. You were heartbroken. But what you didn't know was this. That position came with hidden traps. Debt, dishonor, distraction. If I had opened it, it would have destroyed you, so I said no. Not to hurt you, but to shield you. I chose protection over permission. When I delay, it's not punishment, it's preparation. The longer the wait, the greater the weight of what's coming. You asked for income, but I'm preparing to release impact. You thought doors were closing to keep you out. But what if I told you I was the one closing them to protect what's next? Because next, I'll show you why I shut the doors that hurt you. That no you cried over was me saying I love you too much. You begged me to open that door. You called it an opportunity, but I called it a trap because I saw what you couldn't. I know how hard it was when everything you hoped for vanished. I heard your voice breaking as you said, "God, why would you let this slip away?" But that door didn't close to reject you. It closed to protect you. I do not block paths to punish my children. I redirect you to preserve your destiny. Some doors lead to rooms filled with counterfeit blessings. Short-term money with long-term chains. Fame without peace. Love without loyalty. Would you rather have a blessing that fades or a legacy that lasts? That's why I closed it. Because when I bless you, it will be pure, protected, and permanent. Do you remember when you almost signed that contract? It promised fast money. The numbers looked right, but something felt off in your spirit. That was me. That gut feeling, that was my spirit whispering, "Walk away." You didn't know what I saved you from, but you listened. And that obedience unlocked something far greater. My closed doors are not endings, they are exits from what would have harmed your purpose. You've cried over jobs, relationships, dreams that didn't happen, but I know what would have broken you. So I allowed the door to slam shut to build the strength you'd need for the next one. Now that you understand why I closed those doors, it's time to open the one you've been waiting for. Because next, I will show you how I provide. You worried about where it would come from, but I've already sent it. Before you even prayed, I had already set the provision in motion. You don't see it yet, but it's coming. Because I am Jehovah Jireh, your provider. I didn't just close the wrong doors, I was opening the right ones behind the curtain of time. The delay wasn't because I forgot. It's because I was preparing something that required more than a moment. It required my signature. Provision is not based on your effort, it's based on my promise. You think I provide when you're good, but I provide because I am good. Money is not your master, I am. And when you trust me fully, provision becomes effortless, like manna in the desert. It comes daily, faithfully, and supernaturally. Don't ask where it will come from, ask who it will come from, because I own it all. You remember that unexpected refund? That random bonus? That stranger who handed you help when no one else knew your need? That wasn't luck, that was me. I stirred their heart, I moved the system, I rerouted the funds. You didn't know the source, because I was the source. You've been looking at your bank account for proof, but I want you to look at my faithfulness. Provision isn't just about money, it's about peace. The peace of knowing you're covered, you lack nothing, that I will feed the birds and fund your future. So stop worrying and start trusting. But child, before I pour out the wealth, I must free your hands from the fear, because next we'll talk about what you're still holding on to. You're praying for more, but your hands are full of fear. You want me to place abundance in your life. But how can I when you won't let go? You cannot grasp my blessings while gripping your own anxiety. I told you, I am your provider, but provision requires surrender. You've asked me for open doors, now open your hands. You're afraid of losing control, afraid of what might happen if you trust me completely. So you hoard, you stress, you hold on to just in case. But child, just in case is not faith, it's fear disguised as wisdom. You cannot walk by faith and live by fear. When you clench your fists, you hold on to what's small, but when you open them, I fill them with what's sacred. Think of the rich young ruler. He wanted eternal life, but wouldn't let go of his wealth. He thought he was protecting himself, but in truth, he was rejecting the one who could protect everything. And you've been gripping survival so tightly. You've forgotten, I offer abundance, that side hustle, that emergency fund, that buried stash. It's not evil, but it becomes bondage when you trust it more than me. If you want to receive, you must release. Release the need to figure it all out. Release the shame from past financial mistakes. Release the fear that I won't show up, because I always do. My provision flows, not to those who clutch, but to those who trust. But child, what I'm about to reveal goes even deeper. Your real poverty was never in your wallet, it was in your soul. You called it broke, but I saw it as empty. You weren't just low on money, you were low on hope. And I didn't just come to refill your account, I came to restore your soul. You've let go of what was in your hands. But now I need you to let me inside your heart, because the greatest lack you've felt was never financial. It was the ache of not knowing who you are, in me. You thought money would fix the pain, but it never does. No paycheck can patch a wounded identity. No savings account can silence shame. No promotion can give you peace if your soul is still starving. Your real poverty was the lie that you were unworthy, that you had to earn my favor, that your value was tied to what you could produce. But hear me now, you are not a number. You are my child. Do you remember the woman who made 6 figures but couldn't sleep? She had money, success, followers, but cried herself to sleep each night. She thought she was fulfilled. Until I asked her, if you lost all of it, would you still know who you are? And in that moment, she realized wealth without worth is still poverty. So I stripped it down, not to destroy her, but to rebuild her. Now she walks with peace, gives with freedom, and sleeps in joy. Before I ever send wealth into your life, I restore the wealth inside of you. I pour my spirit, my truth, and my identity into your being, because a healed soul attracts abundance and sustains it. You are no longer poor. You are rich in me. And now that your soul is full, I can trust you with what you've been praying for. Because now comes the money. Because you trusted me in the famine, I can trust you with the harvest. You stayed faithful when nothing made sense. You praised me with empty pockets. And now I move. The wealth is coming, not as a reward, but as a revelation of my goodness. Your soul has been restored. You no longer beg from the world because you know who your source is. Now I place into your life what you once thought was out of reach. The world says you must hustle, strive, compete. But I say, seek first my kingdom, and all these things will be added unto you. I don't bless based on performance. I bless based on position. When your heart is aligned with me, money follows mission. This is not about sudden riches to prove a point. This is about sacred provision to fulfill my purpose in you. You remember the widow in Scripture? She gave her last coin. To others, it was small. To me, it was everything. And because she gave from the heart, she walked into supernatural provision. Now look at your own life, the times you gave while in need, the moments you helped others from your lack. That posture of trust is what opened the floodgates. This money that's coming, it's not luck, it's not karma, it's covenant. I promised to supply all your needs. I promised that if you delight in me, I would give you the desires of your heart. So when the opportunity appears, when the account fills, when the door opens, do not hesitate, walk through it boldly. But child, this wealth is not just for you, it has a mission. What I'm giving you is not just for your comfort, it's for my kingdom. I didn't bring the money just to improve your life. I brought it to expand your impact, to turn your breakthrough into a blessing for others. You prayed for provision, and I answered. But now I ask you, what will you do with what I placed in your hands? This wealth isn't a prize, it's a tool, a sacred assignment. It's not just about lifting you out of debt, it's about lifting others through your obedience. Money can build, money can heal, money can preach when it's surrendered to me. I'm not blessing you just to make you rich. I'm blessing you to make you ready, ready to sow, ready to serve, ready to glorify me through your story. There was a man, I blessed him with a business he never expected. At first, he thought the profit was for him. But one day, he walked into a food pantry and saw a single mother crying because the shelves were empty. And he heard my voice say, "Now you know why I blessed you." That day, he funded enough food for 100 families, and his business, it tripled. Because he finally understood the mission. I give, not just to satisfy you, but to send you. You are not a reservoir, you are a river. Let my provision flow through you, and as you pour out, I will pour more in. But before you step into this mission, I have one more warning. Don't let the money replace me. I gave you the blessing, but never forget the blesser. The danger of abundance is amnesia. You asked me for provision, now I ask you for remembrance. I gave you wealth to fulfill the mission, but the enemy will try to shift your eyes from purpose to possession. You must be vigilant, because what I gave you can never replace who I am. Money is a blessing, but it makes a terrible god. It can offer comfort, but not peace. It can open doors, but not hearts. It can buy things, but not purpose. Do not worship the gift, worship the giver. I am the one who brought you through the wilderness. Don't forget me when you step into the land of abundance. Remember the 10 lepers I healed? All of them received the miracle, but only one returned to thank me. And that one, he didn't just receive healing, he received wholeness. Wholeness only comes through gratitude, through staying close, through never forgetting who provided when there was nothing. If the money makes you independent of me, then it has become a chain. But if it draws you closer, if it becomes a testimony, a tool, a thank offering, then I will continue to trust you with more. You've proven faithful with little. Now show me you'll remain faithful with much. And now, beloved, you're not just blessed, you're chosen. Before you ever asked for money, I wrote your name on a miracle. This blessing isn't random. It's not luck. It's not a reward. It's a revelation of your identity. You've seen my hand. You've felt my provision. But now I want you to see what I see when I look at you. Not just a survivor, not just a receiver, but a carrier of my glory, a chosen one. You were not picked for pity. You were set apart for purpose. You've been wondering, why me? Why now? Because I've been preparing you, not just to be blessed, but to be a blessing. Your story will awaken hope. Your breakthrough will unlock doors for others. Your testimony will be a key. This blessing was never just for your comfort, it was for your calling. Think of David, a forgotten shepherd boy. No crown, no fame, just a sling and a heart after me. But I chose him. I anointed him. I provided for him, not just for survival, but to lead a generation. And like David, I've seen your quiet moments, your obedience in secret, your yes when no one else noticed. Now, it's time for others to see what I've seen all along. You are more than your past, more than your bank account, more than your struggle. You are my chosen vessel, and this blessing is just the beginning. Walk forward in confidence, not because you earned it, but because I ordained it. My child, I bless you with courage to step into this new season, with wisdom to steward what I place in your hands, with peace that no amount of money could ever buy. You are not just blessed, you are mine.